Welcome back to the Watch It Cook It kitchen. I just got back from a trip to the wonderful country of Portugal where I got to try the traditional Bifana. The Bifana is a pork sandwich. The pork is thin strips marinated in wine, garlic, paprika, and then slow simmered in lard, olive oil. There's some garlic in there. It tastes fantastic. My first taste of a Bifana was at this place in Lisbon. It's pretty famous. There are lots of places that do this sandwich, but I've got to tell you, this was wonderful. I'm craving it. I just got to learn to cook it. Let's give it a try and see how close we can get to the original. I'm going to do the Lisbon style, which is so simple. For the marinade, we're going to use some white wine. Any old white wine will do. You don't have to get fancy with that. Of course, salt, pepper, crushed garlic, and paprika. That's it. You put it in the fridge covered for at least 2 hours, 4 hours. If you want overnight, the longer you leave it marinating, the more tender it will become and the more flavorful. I have some simple pork chops, pork loin, almost any cut of pork, but you need it to be thin. So I'm gonna pound this nice and thin in a baggie here so it doesn't splatter all over the place. Try to arrange them so that I can get the hammer to every one of these, and that looks pretty good. Let's go. This is a great dish for when you've had a bad day at the office. Okay, those look really good, nice and thin. Just gonna drop them into a bowl here. Just washed my hands. And then we have the pork ready to be seasoned and marinated. So let's crush the garlic. So garlic's not going into the sandwich, it's just to flavor the meat while it's resting in the marinade. So it can be left pretty roughly crushed like this. We just want the oils to start coming out and infusing that meat. That goes in the bowl. And then quite simply, we're going to put in a good pinch of salt, some pepper, and the all-important paprika. This is smoked paprika. I think that's what was in the Bifana that I tasted. It's hard to tell, and each place that offers Bifana kind of keeps their recipe secret. I'm going to go with smoked paprika. We'll see at the end if it really tastes the same. Plenty of paprika in and give that a good mix around. Oh, the aroma of the paprika and garlic is just taking me back to Lisbon. Now, simply white wine to cover. Push this down to make sure it's all covered in the wine. This liquid is going to get used when we simmer the pork later. The longer it simmers, the better. In the store that I went to in Lisbon, they had a big pot just lightly simmering, and they would just add the raw pork to it on one side and the cooked pork was over on the other side, and who knows how many minutes, hours that stuff was cooking away. The place was busy, so probably gets turned pretty quick, but I'm sure in the slower times that can just simmer and get better every minute that goes by. And into the fridge. And now we wait. How long? As long as I can stand it. I'll meet you back here soon. All right, so willpower is not my strongest thing. I think I lasted about an hour and a half, something like that. But hey, we gotta get this done. I gotta taste this and see if it's just like the one I had in Lisbon. So now it's marinated. We're gonna go over to the stove and simmer this and get it cooked down. At the end, we're gonna add one or both of these, probably both knowing me. Piri, which is from Portugal. This is a spicy chili sauce, and some regular yellow mustard. That's traditionally what gets added at the end. We're going to cook it in some lard and some butter. I'm going to throw in some bay leaves, which are on the top of my butter here, so I don't forget them. And that's it. Simmer, simmer, simmer. Put it on the bread, which is a nice soft roll. It's the closest I could get to the one I had in Portugal, nicely sliced. And we'll put the pork in there. And we'll finally eat it. Let's go to the stove. By the way, I ate other great foods in Portugal during the trip, and I'm going to try to cook some of them right here in the kitchen, see if I can recreate them. So if you get a chance, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any of this great Portuguese food and other stuff we're going to cook along the way. Okay, medium heat and a good chunk of lard. That's flavor. Also, another good chunk of butter. That's flavor too. Good quality, extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to drop in the bay leaves so they can get softened up and start giving some extra flavor. Everything's melted, looks good. Let's put the pork in. Reducing the heat to a low medium, this just needs to simmer gently. Now I'm going to add the rest of the marinade in and just let this cook. That's it. A good couple of hours simmering away on the stove, and it's finally ready. All we got to do is chop it, put it in the roll, and add the condiments, and we're ready to taste. There's no doubt this is a very simple sandwich. It's a pork sandwich. You don't get mayonnaise, you don't get all kinds of fancy stuff on the roll, and you don't get any veggies or any salad or anything else. Cheese sometimes is added, but very little is added to this. But that's the beauty of it. And what we do though is we take this cooking liquid and let it soak into the roll. That's a little secret to extra flavor. Good amount of that liquid there. Let's pile on the pork here. Looking great, smelling good, takes me back. I wonder if it's going to taste the same. Let's add the condiments, a little mustard, and that taste of Portugal, the piri piri, hot pepper sauce all over. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Let's give it a taste. That is good. If there's anything missing, it would be the beautiful streets of Lisbon. It would be the history and maybe that air of Lisbon. Other than that, I gotta say, this is pretty authentic. So simple, so basic, but so flavorful. Bifana from Portugal. You're always welcome right here in the kitchen. I hope we'll see you next time.